Welcome to the Cultural Handshake with Ademola Edo.
What's your music story? Because I know you started with music,
Yeah.
and what's that word again? What's that word? You pivot
Yeah.
into this
Production.
into production.
So I mean, like,
And I know you had a lot of horror stories.
yeah.
So what advice will you give young musicians that are going into music?
Personally, I feel like music is harder than any business I've ever experienced.
In Nigeria or internationally?
I think in Nigeria, I
Okay.
think it's because of the numbers. There are too many musicians. Was it even like before?
Is it too many musicians and the pipeline is small?
Yeah,
Because in the US there are a lot of musicians as well,
yeah.
but I believe there are more opportunities.
Yeah, but I think like there are a lot of DIY. Like if I know what I know, like if I knew what I know now, like I wouldn't have been looking for a label to get signed to be any money off music. The problem is when you start with music, you start with a passion and a talent, and you're like, I'm good at this thing, I'm good at this thing, and it should make me money. You don't think business, right? So that is, and you the music, the way the music is in Nigeria, they just tell you like, oh, it's even glamorized in the songs. When you're talented, you're making music, your family won't get you. Keep hustling. One day you make is a lie. You need to understand the business side of music. Do you understand? Because there are artists that are so talented, but they have terrible managers. And just because they have terrible managers, they cannot make money. And there are artists that are very terrible, but they have good managers that can market them. And they make money.
You don't want to name names.
No, I don't know names. There's the same way there's blacklisting in the political space, there's also blacklisting in the music industry. And that is why people will not come out and say it as it is in the industry, because they don't want to get blacklisted. Not like the person you're responsible to will blacklist you, but the friends of that person will be like, this guy don't fuck up. You just notice that you're not getting airplays, you're not getting radio plays, you can't get anything because they feel you've offended.
So it's a proper cabal.
You get, so I won't call it like a cabal. Cabal makes it look like it's one dark cult. Maybe they are, but I don't know about those part. But I know that you have to be very careful who you offend in the industry, because it can either make or break your music. I also feel like a lot of artists are very lazy. They are very entitled. They look at like, oh, this is the way they say, come sign me, come and sign me. Oh, Don Jazzy, come and sign me. It's beyond that. Any profitable, like before any label will sign you, you actually have to be making money yourself.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay, so basically the vehicle needs to be moving.
Yes.
And they just add more fuel.
Yes, because what that means that they don't have to invest as much capital as they have to, and you're also a proven record that yes, you can make money if we invest more money in you. Mm-hmm. So say on a normal day, if I was a smart musician, right, I would make sure that I put out EPs and albums myself. I would put it on digital platforms. Then I wouldn't wait. Immediately, I'm going to put some money into marketing, maybe even if it's sponsored ads and all that, start growing my numbers and documenting my numbers. So I'm going to have a TikTok page, a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and I'm going to try, because I can't be following and commenting and putting hashtags everywhere to grow my followership. So I use sponsored ads to grow that followership, and year one, I will put what my numbers are. Year two, I'll put what my numbers are. Once I have 3 numbers, I'm going 3 years of numbers. I'm going to do a marketing brochure. This is how my music started. This is the number of content I've put out. This is the number of streams I have on Spotify. This is how my numbers grew from here to here. Then immediately I'm going to start doing concerts every quarter. So if it's Q4, if I put out an EP, I'm going to start doing invitation letters to people. I'm going to try and organize a bar, speak with the bar owner. I can, speak with, Shodi's bar and say, yo, I want to do a concert here. I'm going to get my top fans, send them envelopes of invitation. They're special invitations. Pay 20K for it, pay 50K. Before you know what's happening, based on fan support, just 100 people, I can gather like ₦1 million. Next quarter, I can keep doing that. Invest that, do bigger music videos, bigger budget. When I have these numbers after 3 years, I will now take that and meet a record label and say I need a deal. Because what happens is you can negotiate and bargain for a better percentage. Because what people don't know is that most labels take 80% and the artists take 20%. If you are lucky, sometimes that 20% is shared between you and your manager. If you are really like an influential artist, you can fight for 40%. But because the label is going to say, we're funding this whole thing, we're putting out music, we're paying for, giving you pocket money, we're paying for your apartment, we must music label deal. In fact, if you're an artist, you need to be careful with record labels because it's like taking a loan from the bank. If a record label drops 30 million on your project, best believe they will collect that 30 million intact and profit. They will collect it intact.
It's a business.
Do you understand? And you signed a contract. You are bounded by contract. Unfortunately, when we sign this contract, we have no idea or clue about business. That we sign things, and that's another thing. Make sure you have a friend with an entertainment lawyer. If you can't pay his services, right? Create some type of like register your name as a business or create a music business, even if it's not a label. Give that entertainment lawyer ownership into that thing. Do you understand? So that when you get money
So profit
from your
share.
yeah, lawyers will be ready to work with you for free and do contracts with you if they know they have a stake in your business. And you must be ready to do that, because if you are serious about blowing, when you get big, you know that you are bound by contract. You need to pay this guy. But if you are skeptical about doing that, that means you're not even sure you will blow as an artist. Do you understand?
So now the reason why you know all of this is based on the knowledge you've acquired over time.
Yeah, over the years.
So to the trenches artist, uneducated, no money, he believes in his music, he has the passion. How does that person get this information? Where does he go and get this information?
A lot of this information is available online. In fact, there's
I just said he's uneducated.
Then he needs to get educated.
Okay.
Look at the guy that is doing this. The guy that goes to is it Chess in the Slums?
Yeah.
The to the not Koya guy.
Yeah.
One interesting fact about that guy, that the guy trained himself how to speak Queen's English via YouTube.
I didn't know that.
Do you get? The guy was actually like from the streets, like all these people, and that's why he keeps going back to rehabilitate these kids. If someone like that can decide by himself, because there are many people that are uneducated, they have Android phones, they have basic phones that can browse the internet. Thank God. That's why I keep saying thank God for all these mobile networks that have given you. You know, you
cheap data.
They are even giving people don't use that YouTube free.
Cheap data.
You know, they can say 3 days of YouTube. I'm an alumni of free YouTube.
So there's actually something I was thinking of doing in my hometown in Akure eventually, where I can teach the young children how to use YouTube to acquire knowledge and see how you can provide them with free data. Because really it is, I call it University of YouTube. If you want to be educated, you can go to YouTube. If you want to be entertained with rubbish, go to YouTube. Yeah. And unfortunately, when you see comedy skits, I'm not abusing comedians. When you see comedy skits, 1 million views, 2 million views. When you see that Indian man teaching you some life-changing skills, 14K, 15K.
Yeah, sometimes 500 views. Do you understand? So I just think it's, you know, there is a stage in life, and I am, you know, now, before I used to be so scared to fail. And the irony is that the more I was scared to fail, the more I failed. But where I am currently in my life, I love failure. Failure to me now is expo. It lets you see the solution quickly.
So this is not how to do this.
It's like repeating a class. You do a class, it's so difficult to repeat. And you know how cases they will show me like, oh, you repeat your life, don't you go be arm robber. But when you now repeat, you're now tearing all the continuous assessment 16 over 20, because, you know, and that is life, because life is not like life is not about first to get there. So
there's something, it wasn't my mom or somebody that told me, is that for people that had failures early, they are at an advantage because they know how to pick themselves and get back on their feet. For people that just had a straight ladder of success, when they now meet failure older, they really don't know how to deal with it. You know, so like what you said, when you make mistakes early and you've learned how to pick yourself back up, it's almost like you said, is expo. So the next time you fall, okay, I fell. This is why I fell. What do I need to do not to fall again? And you're better equipped to succeed. Unlike somebody that has never fallen before, and the guy falls and he's just like, there's this guy, I can't remember what he said. He said, when you fall, try to land on your feet so you can get back up. You know, if you fall and you land on your face, that's it.
Yes, and the perfect example I can give, like I remember when I'm very funny guy. One day, like I've always wanted to resign because I didn't like my job. But I think I was using the internet and the internet had issues. And just that short period I had internet issues, I was just thinking of my life. And I just decided I was going to resign on the spot. I feel like if the internet was working that day, I
You
wouldn't
won't.
have. Because it just prompted me to just
Yeah.
think of my life. Like, I don't like
Where I am.
where I am. I need to change it. And when I did my resignation letter, when I went to meet with finance and they needed to calculate how long I've worked for, what they needed to pay me, and the guy said, "You're very lucky that you can wake up and resign." So like, I want to resign, but I can't. My eldest son is about to enter university, private school. I dare not. That's what he said. I dare not. Like, I envy you. Like, that's the last thing he told me. I envy you that you can take this kind of decision. So I feel like it's very important to fail. I think what we need to do is we need to change our attitude of how we see failure. I mean, I've experienced so much failure in my life that I'm now used to it. Do you understand? So when things happen, I ask myself, what is the lesson that I'm picking up from this? As a matter of fact, people think like OAV is my first business. I think music was my first business. Then the record label that I started with my friend was my second business. So there's a lot of failures we've seen. So when I see certain things, like maybe when I see a certain client that reach, I remember when I was doing my photography business with my friend, one guy told us he has access to models in South Africa, what blah blah blah. We should do free shoots for him. I was like, just the word South Africa. I was like, this is it. Like our lives have changed. We did the free photo shoots.
My guy miss.
My guy disappeared. So fast forward
Guy, man.
into OAV. Someone reaches out, yo man, like I know people in the US and I just need you to do a commercial for me for free. And
Nah, so.
immediately I moved the guy's mail to spam. I'm like, I've seen this before. Do you get? So it's the learnings that you get from these things that will propel you to move faster. And when you fail, and sometimes it can be spiritual. Sometimes you can do everything you need to do as a man and still fail. Sometimes God is saying that if you don't fail, you'll not be forced to move forward. So this is me forcing